We've all been there, haven't we? You have this great plan on paper, but then turning it into something real, especially making physical things.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge jump.
And in manufacturing, that jump from the plan to the actual factory floor, well, it's incredibly complex. You're coordinating materials, machines, people. It's quite the orchestration.
It really is. And that whole orchestration leans heavily on the systems you have in place.
Yeah.
Translating those plans into concrete actions,
Right.
especially with the volume and precision needed today. How efficiently you make that translation is, well, it's paramount.
Which brings us perfectly to today's deep dive. We're looking at a really critical piece of that puzzle, specifically within SAP S/4HANA Cloud. We're zeroing in on how planned production orders, sort of the blueprints, get transformed into the actual marching orders for the factory.
It's digital go-ahead, basically.
Exactly, that signal that kicks off the actual manufacturing.
And we're focusing on a specific scenario. It's called make-to-stock process manufacturing based on production order.
Make to stock. Got it.
And our sources, they give us both a practical step-by-step guide and also some insights from an SAP expert. So we'll see the how, but also get a feel for the why it's set up this way.
Perfect. So our mission today, really get under the skin of this conversion process. What are the actual steps in SAP? And what does it tell us about, modern production planning logic?
Sounds good.
Okay, so where does this journey, planned order to production order, where does it actually begin in the system?
Okay, so it starts with the production planner. First things first, they need to log into the SAP Fiori Launchpad.
The Fiori Launchpad, that's like their main dashboard, right?
Exactly. Their mission control for SAP stuff.
Okay, their digital hub. And inside this hub, what's the specific tool they need, the app to start this conversion?
They're looking for an app named Convert Planned Orders to Production Orders. The code, if you're familiar, is CO41.
CO41, right.
That's the dedicated tool for taking those planned intentions and making them official production orders.
Got it. So Planner opens CO41. What's the first thing they see? What hits them?
They get a screen called Collective Conversion of Planned Orders. Initial screen. Basically, this is where they start filtering.
Filtering. Why filtering right away?
Well, imagine you might have, I don't know, thousands of planned orders floating around. This screen is all about setting criteria to find the specific ones you need to convert now.
Ah, makes sense. Narrowing the field. So what are the key filters? What info do they need to punch in?
The guide points out a few key ones. First, planning plan. In our example, it's 1210.
Okay.
Then production plan, also 1210 here. But it's worth noting, sometimes planning and production happen in different physical places.
Yeah.
SAP handles that.
Right, they could be different. Good point. What else?
Then you've got the PRODN supervisor, that's YB5 in the example. And finally, the order type, which is YBM5.
Okay, so planning plant, production plant, supervisor, order type, specifying the where, the who, the what kind of order.
Precisely. It really nails down the subset of orders you're interested in.
And once all that's entered, what's the next click? What do they do?
The next step is crucial. Choose Run Selection.
Run selection.
Yeah, that tells SAP, okay, go find all the planned orders that match exactly what I just put in.
Okay, so the system does its thing, runs the selection. What does the planner see then?
Then the system displays a list. It shows all the planned orders that fit those criteria, the plant supervisor, order type, everything.
A targeted list. Much more manageable, I imagine.
Definitely.
And from this list, the planner has to pick the specific ones they actually want to turn into real production orders now, correct?
Exactly right. The guide mentions an example material, XXXX.
Okay.
So the planner would locate the planned order for material XXXX on that list, select it, click the checkbox or highlight it, and then hit the convert button.
Convert. Simple as that. One click and the plan becomes, well, more real.
Pretty much. When they hit convert, SAP takes that selected planned order or orders and generates a proper production order. This new production order has all the details needed to actually start making the thing. And importantly, the guide stresses, note down the new production order numbers.
Ah, yes. Crucial for tracking, I bet.
Absolutely vital for tracking progress on the shop floor, knowing costs, everything.
Now, I saw something interesting in the notes about flexibility with quantities, even at this stage.
Yes. That's a really useful feature. Just before you finalize that conversion, you can still tweak the quantities.
Oh, so?
Well, the notes mention you could, for example, combine the quantity from 2 separate planned orders into just one single production order.
Oh, interesting. So if you had 2 small planned batches for the same thing.
Exactly. You could merge them into one larger, potentially more efficient production run. Think about reducing setup times or maybe using materials better.
Yeah, that makes a lot of practical sense on the factory floor. Fewer changeovers, maybe?
Precisely.
Yeah.
It offers some valuable optimization right before you commit.
Okay, so planned orders are selected, maybe quantity is adjusted, converted, boom, production orders exist. What happens immediately after that in terms of actual production starting? Does an alarm go off somewhere?
Well, not an alarm, but this is a really key point in this specific setup. The moment that planned order is converted,
Yeah.
the production order it creates is automatically released.
Automatically released, just like that. No extra approval step.
In this scenario, yes. It means as soon as that order exists in the system, it's live, it's authorized. Production can, in theory, start immediately.
Wow. That sounds like a big time saver.
It is. It really streamlines things. As the expert source notes, this allows production to begin almost right away. It's typical for make-to-stock, where speed and replenishing inventory is often key.
Right, keep the shelves full based on forecast.
Exactly. Though it's worth mentioning, in other scenarios, maybe more complex ones, you might want a manual release step for tighter control. But here, it's automatic.
That's a major efficiency gain, cutting out delays. Okay, but what about the planned orders on that list that didn't get selected, the ones left behind? Do they just hang around?
Good question. You don't want clutter. The guide mentions a couple of ways to handle those.
Okay.
One is pretty direct. You can actually select those obsolete planned orders right there in the list and delete them before you even hit convert for the ones you want. Sort of a manual cleanup on the spot.
Ah, okay. Tidy up as you go.
Yeah.
Is there a more automated way?
Yes, there is. The other main method involves running MRP, material requirements planning.
MRP, we hear that term a lot.
We do. MRP is that bigger planning engine. When you run it, it looks at current demand and supply, and it can automatically identify planned orders that are no longer needed, maybe demand changed, and it can delete them from the database.
Automatically deletes them. Okay. But I think I remember seeing a catch. Something about firmed orders.
So you got it. That's the crucial condition. MRP will only automatically delete a planned order if it's not firmed.
Firmed. What does that mean exactly? Locked in?
Yeah, think of it like that. A firmed planned order is like a confirmed reservation. It's got a higher level of commitment. Maybe it's close to the production date. Maybe resources are already set aside.
So it's protected.
Right. Firming basically tells MRP, hands off this one, it's locked in. So MRP cleans up the unfirmed, more preliminary planned orders, but leaves the firmed ones alone.
That makes total sense. Different levels of certainty in the plan. Okay, let's just zoom out for a second. Why is this whole conversion process, the CO41 step, why is it so fundamental in the grand scheme of manufacturing?
Well, if you think about the whole flow, from guessing demand to actually having products, this conversion, it's the bridge. It takes what we think we need to make the planned order.
Right, the forecast bit.
And turns it into what we're actually going to make right now, the production order. It connects planning to execution.
The strategic plan becomes actionable tasks